So on today's episode, we had Micaela Socci, who is with WeMoters and EntreArchitect. Do you want to go into that?
Sure. She works for, it's a company called WeMoter. They provide remote talent for architectural companies. They also work with other AEC professionals as well. And also she moderates an EntreArchitect group, which they help business owners of architectural companies to improve their business and get through pain points.
Right. I really feel like the episode today, y'all went over a lot of talking about working virtual and having employees that are virtual. And I thought that was a very interesting, I thought it was very applicable to you because you're a post-COVID remote company, as you like to say all the time. And I thought it was very applicable to you. Was there anything else you wanted to hit on there?
Yeah, I mean, she helps companies that need to source talent for whatever reason. It might be various reasons. And so we get into the pros and cons of remote work, and mostly pros, obviously, with her position. But she gives a lot of reasons for that, and just really opened my eyes to some of the benefits to not only remote talent, but also her, specifically the Latin America, which is where she provides talent. And then also the EntreArchitect and her being a moderator for that. A lot learned from, just the lessons learned there and the pain points that business owners have and the things they deal with. So we got into that. It was really interesting to find out some of those pain points and how people deal with those things.
Yeah. I thought that was really, really interesting to hear y'all going off about that. So I like the curveball question you had for today, the opener. So I was going to throw it at you.
Oh, no. Okay.
Pun intended. If you could put one message on a billboard for AEC leaders about remote teams, what would it say?
Oh, about remote teams. Well, if I could, I would steal hers. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to steal her thunder. But I would say it would be three words. Collaboration is key.
I can
collaboration
see that
is key
on the billboard.
So yeah, I think collaboration is key. And what's interesting is I think that's key for remote or not remote. So that's the benefit of that phrase is collaboration is key for this industry, for architects, engineers, and contractors. You have to communicate, you have to collaborate. And if you're not collaborating, you're getting errors, you're getting problems, and you're getting rework, which rework costs money, it costs time, and it costs headaches.
Yeah.
So collaboration is key.
Would you say collaboration along the lines of like communication?
Yeah, I mean, collaboration is a fancy word for communication, but really communication is a subset of collaboration. So, yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
You have to have, I can have communication and maybe I'm not fully collaborating, if that makes sense, because I think I'm communicating, but I'm not actually, it's not getting heard, or it's not getting heard in a way that is connecting with that person.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's the full collaboration piece. I just learned about all this year, but that's a separate issue. So, but I would say collaboration is key.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, my name is Andy Richardson, and I'm a professional engineer. I've been doing this 27 years, and this is the producer, Madeline, and this is the Enhanced Podcast, where we interview professionals in the AEC industry and find out their what and their why. Let's get started.
Welcome to Enhance, an AEC podcast, where we learn the why behind AEC professionals so that you can learn your why.
Welcome to the Enhanced Podcast today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, definitely. So looking forward to today. So I've got your opener question for today is, if you could put one message on a billboard for AEC professionals about remote teams, what would you say?
Oof, I have a lot of things to say. If it had to be just one message, I would say consider that remote solutions allow you to work smarter, not harder. And a little addition to that. Um, the best way to make remote solutions work is to consider they're not outsiders. Consider them part of your team.
Mm, I love that. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. So um, that's what I really, I mean, and this is 2025, this is post COVID. So people are, I think people are open to this remote concept way more than maybe even 5 years ago. Um, but
Yes, for sure.
you also have different arrangements that are happening, part-time, full-time, contract, remote. And I think what you just said is one of the key parts of it is you're a part of the team. You know, you're not just, hey, you're over there and we're over here. It's we're all part of the team trying to get one thing done. So I
Completely.
like what you said there. But you said you had a lot more others. It sounds like you just have a lot of ideas about remote work and you
Well,
have a passion for your job. It sounds like too.
well, yes, especially for the AEC industry, there are a lot of traditional firms out there that they have this feeling they're losing their identity and their quality if they transition to remote work instead of seeing it as an enhancement of what they're doing. Well, for the enhanced podcast, it makes a lot of sense. uh, but yes, honestly, there's a little bit of fear. Even though we're in a post COVID world, I see a bit of fear and again this idea that remote teams are not able to connect and be part of your culture, and it's something we should leave behind and just refocus on all that it can bring us and how it can support our businesses.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you think is driving that fear?
Well, there are a lot of bad experience horror stories, to be honest, and I understand that. We usually, when I talk with new clients, and they always say, yes, I work with a freelancer or with a contractor or with this agency that I don't even know where they were, and it didn't work out because this and this and that. And it's true, remote work, it's a complex thing to develop. But if you don't have a structure, if you don't have processes, of course it's a recipe for disaster. And I understand why those bad experiences um, have this industry, with no more energy to try it again. But everything that has a structure and everything that has a process can be perfected, and it can be actually a Michelin star recipe and not necessarily a recipe for disaster. The process and the communication is the key here.
Yeah. And you guys have the keys to unlock that, I imagine, right?
I don't want to say that we have the keys to unlock that. I mean, we're not doing rocket science here. We just have a lot of experience. We're experts in this field, and we're a bit obsessed with perfecting that. Um, and we treat all of our clients or processes as if they were unique, and we give a lot of support. And that support, that concept of creating remote workflows together and understanding what your client knows and what they want to be able to do, what the candidates know, because taking into consideration, I have two type of clients: candidates that are all around Latin America. uh, we don't work with junior candidates, so all of my candidates are semi-senior, senior profiles, project managers, lead architects, super high value talent that is excited and ready for these long-term careers. And then on the other side, this firm, this business owner that's again looking to scale and fighting in a market that fluctuates a lot, having to compete with maybe big corporations. We work with small and mid-sized companies. So they're fighting against these big corporations and chasing projects. And whenever we're able to actually create process that makes sense to these different parties and build this workflow together, well, we see a lot of success. But again, this is not rocket science. This is just experience.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your humility on that. I didn't mean to prop you up too much there with that one, but that was a good response. So I want to get to know you a little bit more about your background and really what got you started. I mean, you have an HR background from your education and so forth, but you got into the AEC industry. What drew you to that industry?
Exactly, yes. So I actually studied international business, people management, HR, so nothing to do with the AC. But my father, he's actually a developer. I'm from Argentina, and
Okay.
he is a developer in Argentina. And I remember going to job sites together and meeting, the lead architect and the engineer and being part of meetings. I had no idea what they were talking about, but the dynamic, seeing all these, different personalities working together and having to collaborate and having so much passion for a creative industry, and that making it a reality, it was inspiring to me, even though of course I don't have um, the capacity of being an architect, and I love what I'm doing, and I'm a people first approach, so I love HR. uh, this industry, it gives me, a lot of curiosity.
Yeah, so it's a perfect match. You have your skills, and then you have a passion for the architecture industry.
Exactly.
What part of Argentina are you from?
Cordoba,
If you don't mind.
Argentina. Sorry.
Which part?
Cordoba, Argentina. So it's the second biggest city in the middle of the country. Basically, we have mountains, lakes, a little bit of everything.
Okay. Yeah, so one thing about me, I don't know if you knew this, my wife and I, we were learning Argentine tango.
Wow, no, I
So
love that.
yeah, so one day,
Well,
one of my goals is to come down and try it in Argentina, where it was, of course, invented.
you should definitely go to Buenos Aires, go to these, small bars, and you have tango nights, and everyone is just dancing with each other and learning and drinking really good wine. It's a beautiful, it's part of our culture, and it's beautiful. Love that you're learning tango.
Yeah, can't wait to make it down there sometime. So,
Let me
um,
know.
and where are you? Are you in Argentina now, or are you in the U.S.?
Right now, I'm in Argentina. Yes, I'm coming and going to the U.S. pretty often. I'm usually based in Florida, but to be honest, we have clients and I go to conferences a lot as well. So next week I'll be in Boise, Idaho. Then the following one I'll be in Houston, Texas. Then I'm going to Florida again, and then to Dallas, Texas again. So it's constantly moving, but it's also
Wow.
fun as well.
And I imagine that's how you get a lot of your customers is through these conferences and
Yes,
such.
yes. Again, pretty related to the fact that um, until they see a face and they get to know you on a personal level, and we create trust, uh, that's that's what we're aiming here. Long-term partnerships, building trust with each other, and not just being a vendor. We try to be key partners for our clients.
Yeah. Okay. And so I want to get back to you a little bit on the remote architecture. I mean, this is going to apply, I imagine, to my field, engineering, but you're specifically focused on architects and connecting architects with their, I guess, hires, right?
Well, yes, architect. To be honest, architecture firms are our bread and butter, but we do work with engineering firms, home builders, construction companies. Um, we have in Cordoba, actually in Argentina, Cordoba, we have the biggest BIM cluster, and we have a pretty good university for architects and engineers. So we have a really good talent pool, and architects are just the ones I've been closer to. I'm part of the EntreArchitect community with Mark LePage. I don't know if you know
Mhm.
him. He's a
I
great,
don't know directly, no.
well, he's a great leader. And to be honest, we have a lot of referrals as well. And a lot of our architectural clients refer us to each other. But we serve the entire AC industry.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely want to get into the EntreArchitect here in a moment. But
Okay.
first, I wanted to go ahead and So basically, you're working with mostly architects. You work with some other industries as well. But as far as, I mean, one of our primary customer or markets and our target audience really is architects as well, for the Enhanced podcast. And so, yeah, so that's okay. We're going to be talking to them primarily, but also, I mean, my point was other professionals can learn from these points as well, I
For
would
sure.
imagine.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Remote workflows are important for almost every industry. And there are a couple things that apply to us all, whether you're an engineer, you're an artist, or in whichever field you're working, being able to work on remote setups is going to give you a great advantage. So it's important information for everyone, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And um, so here's a question for you. Remote architects can work inside a studio without hiring culture. When did you realize this?
Well, there's a funny story. I met in one of these conferences an architect. She's a firm owner in Texas, and she actually had a hybrid team, a couple people on site, then a couple people that were, far away from the city. So they were working hybridly. And she thought that these two members specifically, they were not really performing, and it was really due to the fact that they were not always on the office. And at the same time, they had this specific lack on a software that they were using. It's called ArchiCAD. So after a conversation with me, we decided, okay, let's start a sourcing process together and let's find an architect that can support your end-to-end process and be proficient in ArchiCAD. And what we did is we sourced for a candidate that he was actually an ArchiCAD professor. So he was a teacher of the software down here in Argentina. And as soon as he got started with this client, I mean, you could actually see how much value he was able to add almost immediately, how he was able to actually train the rest of the team members on the software and create templates and standards. So it's not really about the the remote setup or not, it's about the fit. These other members she had in the past, probably they were not a good fit. She was doing specifically residential projects, and this ArchiCAD teacher, he was a big fan of residential, so it was a perfect match. And this is just a little example of how, again, we I'm a bit obsessed on being a professional matchmaker, and we pay a lot of attention to the cultural fit, the mission of the company, the future projects of the company, because those things are also super important when hiring. And hiring remotely, it's super related to that as well. The success comes from both ends.
Yeah. Now
We have, yes,
I'm
go
sure
ahead.
you have people that, um, I mean, like you mentioned the fear earlier, the
Yes.
fear of maybe a poor fit, but also there's a disconnect. It feels like I don't know what they're doing over there, halfway across the world. How do you connect to somebody who is on basically a different continent than you?
Well, if there's a micromanagement issue, I cannot really do anything around that. And that happens a lot, to be honest, especially at first. Um, Again, they feel this disconnection and they feel that they have to be checking in on them 100 times more as if they were in the office. But aside from that, and in most of the cases, what we do is we create familiarity. We give a lot of support on the onboarding process, and we request that our clients feel this. I call our remote workers WeMoteers. So we request that the clients feel these WeMoteers are actually in-house. So introduce them to the rest of the team, get to know them on a personal level, tell them the company's mission, the company's values, the future projects. If they're able to jump on a virtual call with a client, make them part of that call as well. We have a saying here in Argentina: make sure that they get the team's jersey. So make them fan of you and your company. Make them believe in you. We all want to be part of something.
Mm.
So if you make them part of your company and don't treat them like outsiders, the level of trust and confidence that can be built, it's amazing. For the micromanagers, we also have a couple tools like time tracking system, schedule meetings, and a couple other details that help them with that anxiety at first. And
Mm-hmm.
we also have performance reviews. Those are great tools to create career paths together, and that gives them more certainty.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a micromanager, you're going to have a challenge whether
Yeah,
you're working in the office or whether you're working, elsewhere, I would say.
completely. Yeah,
And it reminds me of, I think about a colleague of mine, and when he started out, he worked in an office. I mean, this was, before anybody really thought about remote work, probably 20, 30 years ago. But he worked in an office, but his boss was the architect of record, and he was gone all the time. And so
mhm,
basically, he was working remotely, but because his boss wasn't there. And so, in other words, what I'm getting at is we've been doing remote work, even though we haven't really been doing remote work because a lot of times the owner or the architect of record is gone anyway. They're at meetings. They're you know they're busy doing business or connecting with people, and the design architects are there doing all the work basically and doing all the drawings.
completely.
um, and so why not hire somebody over in Latin America or elsewhere? It's my theory. I mean, we have some remote workers as well. So um, I like a combination. Well, we're purely remote at our company, but I mean, when I say, I guess I'm saying like overseas. We have some overseas. We have some in the U.S. as well, but we're all remote. But I definitely see the pros and cons of it in terms of the in-house and being able to have those conversations that are more it feels more personal, like the water cooler talk mentality. And there's sometimes those things lost with that. Do you have any suggestions for how to get around those type things as far as that kind of water cooler talk?
Of course, yes. And comments aside here, I see a lot of firms, agencies offering remote work that say everything can be done remotely. To be honest, for me, that's not true. I think that combination that you probably have, Andy, a little bit of remote, a little bit on site from time to time, that's what firms should be aiming. And there are things that my people cannot do 100% remotely. So I'm not saying that we have a magic pill here and that everything can be solved with remote work. I'm saying that it should be a good mix. And
Mm,
there's a lot of work that can be done remotely perfectly well, perfectly well. But to answer to your question, we also have with our clients what we call the side meetings, where we propose them, meetings to do with their remote teams and just play a little game or do a little exercise at the beginning of the week. Again, ask questions, get to know each other. Over time, we also have a lot of clients that have done immersive trips with our WeMoteers. That means that um, our remote people went to, I don't know, North Carolina once during an entire week and met the team on site, and they were able to actually see the projects they were working on the last year, the year before, and see them, in real life. And that is a resource as well. And having someone on an on-site project, you know, it's not a crazy thing to do. It's pretty easy to do. And
hmm
again, it's just a matter of being methodical, having processes, and finding good quality talent.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, I want to go into. Sometimes I go a little bit off of the
Yes, go ahead.
questionnaire. I got in trouble about that not too long ago, so I want to make sure see if you're okay with that.
Please.
Um, but yeah, I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned it, EntreArchitect,
Yes.
and how you got started with EntreArchitect.
Well, first I'm gonna introduce the EntreArchitect community for maybe listeners that don't know it. It's actually an online community of architects, small, maybe a couple of mid-sized firms that actually want to work on their entrepreneurial spirit, learn, connect with each other. It's a beautiful, beautiful community. Mark LePage is leading it. He's awesome as well. I got introduced by it by a client, and he mentioned, Micaela, you have a lot of things to say. You like talking basically. Why don't you join this community and maybe you can serve and learn a little bit as well? So I got started with a mastermind group. We used to meet once a week. And this mastermind group was actually with allies of the industry, vendors, manufacturers, people supporting the architecture industry just like me. And we became friends, we became business partners. They were my mentors as well. And I love this community so much that I'm also now moderating special sessions in which I interview these allies. Uh, the architects can also get to know the allies of the community as well. They have an on-site event. I think that Mark is hosting it like every 2 years, and that's a great event as well. It's a great resource for those architects out there that want to feel they're part of something, learn more, listen to each other experiences, and it also teaches me a lot. Again, I'm not an architect. I would love to be an architect, but I'm not, and I get to learn from them every day, and that's awesome.
But this is more about the business of architecture. Like
Yes, yes, yes.
like this isn't necessarily as much about design and things of that nature, but more struggles of an architect, right?
Yes, of course, it's actually for firm owners, and it has that orientation, being good leaders, how to scale, financial advice. There's a lot of things you can learn around it, but again, yes, it's more related to the business of architecture, not design itself.
Yeah, but I mean, do architects do you find that there's a lot of struggles in the business of architecture that they're dealing with?
Well, I think that architects, unfortunately, are not taught to be business owners. You're in school and everywhere, architects are taught to be, you know, designers, creative minds, productive minds, but at the same time, you never actually, well, most of architects don't have that previous experience or studies or background uh, running a business, doing business development is something hard for everyone, not just for the architecture industry, and those skill sets need to be learned and practiced. So yes, I do see a struggle in the architecture field with that. Um, Architects are usually working with clients that probably have the same mindset as me. So we don't really talk the same language. Probably architects are talking about, well, this material would be awesome, etc. And I cannot even imagine how that material would look in that wall. So
Mm.
being able to wear different hats, it's something that probably our universities are failing us, to all of us, in many ways, and this community is doing a great job to closing that gap.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fair assessment. And because if you went to school to be an architect, if you're a really good architect, I mean, we can't all be good at everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be good at both architecture and business. Um, and so I guess if you have both, then that's usually the ones that do very well. And I think about there's an author. His name is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. You ever heard of that book before? But he's pretty funny guy because he says that he's not the best author. He says I'm the best selling author.
Exactly.
So you mentioned business development, and I think sometimes that's one area that people struggle with as architecture firms, not to mention other AEC professionals. Are there other struggles that you're seeing on a common? You're moderating these groups basically, right? And so, are you
Yeah.
seeing other struggles in those groups?
Well, a little bit of everything, of course. To be honest, I think there are two main struggles: business development and leadership, especially for small firm owners, mid-size owners that are transitioning, that are trying to, create processes. This goes back to the fact that, sorry for these architects that are listening, architects tend to be control freaks. So delegating and being able to trust in your team so you can focus on maybe more strategic or core aspects of the business, that's something I see a lot of struggle. How to be leaders and how to engage probably with new generations as well. There's this big talk everywhere about working with Gen Z people and how to approach it, how to hire, and well, I again, how to implement processes, career path for these new generations that are coming in. It's again a main struggle that I see. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, those are good areas to work on if you're in the architecture industry, or really the AEC industry. So um, those are some good pain points to really work on, and obviously hiring, I imagine, is one, and getting talent, which is your area of work.
Yeah, that
How else has being a part of Entree, or I guess I should say, how has being a part of EntreArchitect impacted your work with WeMoter?
well, as I said before, I'm lucky enough to have a lot of contact with uh, clients from the EntreArchitect community, members of the community that are not my clients, and by seeing how they think, how their everything intertwines in their business, then WeMoter is able to better serve them. And one of the key things we do here, apart from being the employer of record, EOR, I know that probably in your line of business, it's engineer of record. For us,
Mhm.
it's employer of record. So apart from being the employer of record and handling time tracking and those things, we function as an external HR department. That means that we support both ends. We want to support our business owners on how they're being leaders, on how they are creating goals and career paths for our WeMoteers, and being able to have that close contact and having friends on the industry and having these open conversations on those mastermind groups allow me to actually position myself as if I was in an architect's mind. And that is something that my father used to taught me when we were used to go to those job sites and we were meeting all these, characters of the industry, the subcontractors and the engineers, and then we would have these long conversations in which we will sing, of course the architect is going to be mad with this subcontractor because the architect is focused on the deadline that he has in his mind. So we were always trying to position ourselves as these different members, and that's something that I still do nowadays, trying to position myself as the people and members I have in front of me, understand them, understand their priorities, their fears, and it again, it allows us to better serve our clients.
Yeah, I mean that's an important lesson to learn, and I think your experience being on the job site is significant to be able to relate to the architects that you're working with.
It was a lot of experience. My father experienced, my dad, he was super experienced at it, and I was just learning everything he had to say. I wasn't on job sites forever, but yes, it was super super enriching to me.
Um, so you mentioned leadership, and you're a co-founder of this business yourself. So you are very well familiar with business and leadership. What's one of the hardest leadership decisions you've made in the past year?
Ooh, a lot of decisions, a lot of big decisions this year. Um, Probably the one that it was harder for me on a personal level was saying no to just having this big amount of clients and just focusing on quality over quantity of our clients. Again, for us, it's important to interview and pre-vet candidates and to make sure that our clients are also choosing well and going through interview processes as they should, etc. So just saying no to someone and having to tell them, for this quarter, we won't be able to take any more clients until we solve this, or to tell them, I have specific cases of architects that came to me like, Micaela, I'm desperate for I don't know, a BIM modeler, and I need them for yesterday. And me having to tell them, sorry, of course we will try to help you, but this is our time frame, this is how we work, and this is going to assure you quality. We try to be as fast as possible, and we have a pretty smooth process. Of course, that's what we do for a living. But having to say to a client, uh, I cannot make this happen in 24 hours. It's a tough decision for me. And that is something I have done over this last year that probably in previous year I would say, okay, yeah, let's give it a try and let's see. And it's probably a recipe for chaos. I always say that when we have the perfect match, and that takes a little bit of time from both ends, then that WeMoter, it's our brand ambassador. And the next time our client is thinking of expanding their team, they'll come back to us and probably promote the WeMoter they already have. So again, quality over quantity of clients.
Yeah, I love that. And I think there's a big lesson learned for everybody. And I mean, because in the AEC industry, we're always about hair on fire. I don't know if you use that term or not, but it's this idea that everything's got to be done in 24 hours. I mean, what's the deal with these time frames? I mean, yeah, a day or two, I think we can live with, right? Or maybe a week in some cases. So, but I'd rather take a week personally and get the right person that's going to be here, hopefully, for a long time, and get a lot of work done over the years. That would be my opinion. So I'm glad that I mean, it's very hard to do that though, because you want to win the job, you want to win the
Exactly.
project, and you want to say, yeah, I can do that. And but that's a good lesson learned. Thank you for sharing that. So I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of really what you do. And it's WeMoter, it highlights removing delays and cost of traditional hiring. But what drove you to? I mean, I think that's one of the biggest benefits. And what drove you to provide this resource for various companies?
Yes. So basically, outsourcing it, we all know that it has a bad connotation to it. There's a lot of horror stories, and what we did here is basically flipping the script. So we're providing insourcing solutions. Again, we work with a specific methodology. We don't work on a project base. We work with long-term partnerships, and what we're aiming here is to cover, well, those two pain points that you just mentioned: the speed, the time that it takes, and the cost of hiring. Hiring, you have two options. Whether you try to do it yourself and just, discover how to use LinkedIn or other platforms and go over 100 interviews and read a lot of resumes and just to try to discover it by yourself, or you have to hire an agency. There are a lot of traditional agencies that have a lot of bureaucracy. They're super expensive as well. So what we did, it's basically creating a methodology that would remove all those barriers that we had right in front of our face. So we use this methodology that is called PROS. It means professional staffing at a cost-effective solution for long-term partnerships and real-time collaboration. and this is key here, there are great professionals all around the world. But one of the main issues in remote solutions, it's communication. Bad communication, not being able to work on the same time zone, not setting standards, not setting limits and responsibilities, that's harming the industry. So we hire people that's around Latin America, so we're able to mirror your time zone. And we support the entire process to make sure that this workflow is being created in a way that's going to last.
Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned the time zone. Are there any other benefits of Latin America versus other parts of the world?
Well, for sure. I'm Argentinian, so I'm going to say there are a lot of benefits, but honestly, there are three main things: time zone compatibility. Latin America, it's basically the backyard of the US. Well, let's not say backyard. Probably we can say that we are in this, on your sphere of influence. So
Yeah.
there's a
Front
great
yard, maybe, right?
so there's a great cultural fit.
Yeah.
And Latin American people, we learn about the American culture from movies, from books, TV, everything. I mean, Hollywood has done a great job, and we basically are a bit better suited than maybe other cultures to work with you. And to be honest, again, there are a lot of highly um, talented professionals out here, uh, and ready to start, providing services right away and adding value right away.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to get into the point of the whole podcast is called enhance. We really want to understand this people's why is what we call it. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? I mean, you could, some people just, hey, I want to make money, or I want to, maybe that's it. Um, and but is there a deeper why for you in terms of what you're doing here in the AEC industry with WeMoter?
Yes, to be honest, it's super simple as well. And I think we have already talked it a little bit. But basically, I believe that talent is everywhere, and I want to be able to remove the barriers to remote talent and connect great businesses with bright talent, provide opportunities for both ends, and again, work smarter, not harder. I think this is a great thing that we see here. And it even relates to a little bit of what you just mentioned, that architects have this culture, and engineers, the AC industry in general, have this culture of you can only scale with suffering, basically. And I don't think that's true. I think that we can create good processes and scale honestly and smartly as well.
Yeah. And do you have any good examples where, I mean, somebody it just impacted their life? I mean, not necessarily specific names or anything, but I mean, do you have any examples where it just really impacted them in a long-term way?
Yeah, sure. So we have a client that's actually based in Idaho. There are two business owners, and they work together. They've been together, I don't know how many years, and they have this specific goal related to, let's just say, sustainability. And they're working with big projects, and they have been trying to hire locally for an engineer. I don't know how many times he mentioned it was like he had 7 or 8 people that rotated through the office, and he was not able to fulfill his personal dream of this big sustainable project because he was always circling back to this need of start recruiting again and interviewing and going over and over and onboarding people. So he was wasting time, money, of course, and energy. He was just tired. When we first met, he was like, to be honest, I don't really want to handle this anymore. Tell me what you're doing. Just let's give it a try because I really don't know what else to do. So well, we started our own internal sourcing process. In this case, we did headhunting because we have our own talent pool. But in particular cases that we need to find the perfect fit, um, we're not staying with what we have here on our bench, let's call it. So we do headhunting, and we search for a boy from Brazil. I'm always about to say names, and I want to avoid that. So he's from Brazil, and he had all the expertise this team was looking for, and also he was a really good communicator, and that's something not so common in engineers. uh, he was able to express himself and ask the perfect questions, and just make sure that he was moving forward in the right direction. He was onboarded to this team, and right from the start he was able to get responsibilities out of these two business owners' shoulders, and they were able to refocus on this big sustainable project. And it was honestly a relief for them. And we all have personal dreams outside of our jobs, or at least we all should. And these two business owners were completely focused on operational tasks due to this problem they were, you know, carrying months and months and months. So being able to hear from them, like, Micaela, I was able to circle back on this project, and now we're moving forward with this, and just seeing that they're happy and able to regain time for themselves, it's something that's truly valuable.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've really helped that company get over an incredible hurdle, and now they can enjoy what they're doing and do their sustainable work and their design work. So that's pretty
Exactly.
awesome. So what's next for Micaela and WeMoter?
What's next? Um, I think that a lot of things can change over the next couple years due to AI. I want to be able to support my clients and my teams with more AI education. So that's a thing that's coming for sure. And also, I want to dive deeper into other sectors of the AEC industry. And that's just me. I want to be able to scale and to serve not just architects, serve more engineers, more home builders, and actually expand. We have been in the US for less than 3 years, so we haven't been here forever. And make a name of ourselves and just better serve our clients and be able to expand nationally in the US. I think that's our next bigger challenge.
Awesome. Sounds like a big goal for you. So it's good to have goals moving forward. Well, is there anything else you want to discuss today, Micaela?
Not anything in particular, just do you happen to have any questions that you think are important for your audience to hear?
Uh, I mean, I definitely hit on most of the ones I think are important. There's so much that we could continue to talk about with, remote work and all the lessons you've learned. But I think we've hit on most of them for me today.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe you could. So I'm going to do this, and you're originally. I had to get your name pronounced right, but it's Micaela Socci.
Yes,
Socci, right?
perfect.
Did I do that okay?
Yeah,
And so thank you for being on today. And I guess your background is from Italy, but you live in Argentina currently.
exactly. Yes.
You did-
So,
Yeah. So
yeah, so my family is originally from Italy, and we've been in Argentina after the war. And I had the pleasure of traveling a little bit while I was young. So I went to the US for a couple months. I went to Australia a lot, in Southeast Asia. So I have been able to be in touch with a lot of different cultures. And that's why, again, I think I have this feeling that talent is everywhere, and we can enrich ourselves just by connecting with people. And it's honestly something that I think can be done super, super easily through remote solutions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a flat world we live in right now, is the term I've used. I mean, we want to support our local people too. I mean, that's one of the pros and
For
cons
sure.
aspect. But at the same time, you have, I mean, like with this company in Idaho, sometimes you just can't find local talent, or maybe you can't get ahead with local talent. So, or there's no local talent.
Yeah.
So there's reasons why you need that. But um, so I mentioned earlier that one of my goals is to go to Argentina, and I've been working on my Spanish a little bit.
Please go
Um,
ahead.
so I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm trying to just do this anyway. But see, um, yo quiero, uh, oh shoot, learn. I was gonna say learn.
Aprender.
Yeah. Yo quiero aprender español.
Perfecto.
Uh, yeah, I was gonna ask if you could teach me a little saying maybe or something.
Sure, yes. Well, a basic thing here, it's un vino, por favor, una copa de vino. It's a glass of wine.
Okay.
So,
Un vino, por favor.
una copa de vino, por favor. Yes.
Una copa de vino, por favor.
Perfect, perfect. Good.
Okay. I said, let's see. It's only yo aprender muy piquito
Poquito. Hmm.
español.
And one thing I'm just remembering: avoid at all costs saying soccer, football.
Fútbol,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. In Argentina, we're big football fans, Messi fans. So
Okay.
everywhere you go, aguante Messi, and you'll be happy.
Okay. Very good. Well, maybe we'll have to edit that out of there. It wasn't as good. I didn't practice very well.
No, it was
So
good.
my
Actually, good pronunciation.
okay. So my producer, she's laughing in the background here. You can hear it. We're about to do our, so we do our preview, of the show before. So, well, Micaela, it was a joy to have you on today. And where can people find you?
Sure. Yes. So you can reach me out pretty easily at my email, Micaela@WeMoter.com, or on LinkedIn as well, Micaela F. Socci. I'm pretty active on those social media. Follow me around there, or just follow our website, WeMoter.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, it was, again, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you
And
for
take care.
hosting it, Andy. Pleasure to meet you and speak with you.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to today's episode of Enhance. And please leave a like,